really gonna make me remember all these characters' names again next season, huh? Damn you, Jeff Johns. Oh, hey everyone, Joe here from Action X. Welcome to What's in the Two. Welcome back if this is your 13th and final DC Stargirl Season 2 episode review. I haven't done something like that since last year, where it's like I comment on what's going on in the episode. I'm actually just, for context sakes, I'm renumbering, well, not renumbering, I'm more like properly numbering the episodes I have online already, because when you do more than 270 of these, you tend to lose track a little bit, so I'm going back and making sure all of them are properly numbered. I'm a little off by one. I have one more extra I produce, so that means we're a little bit ahead, but regardless of the case, I was rewatching some of the intros, and I'm just like remembering how I used to start off the show, which was me reacting to either the entire episode itself, or just the ending, or just something of that case. I'm gonna be honest with you, I died laughing at the end of this season, and I'm just not because it was bad or anything, just like it was actually like the subtle like hints of like next season is probably going to be the most funniest season of the show. I'm gonna be honest with you. If the first season was like emotional and this season was all about hope, this next season is going to be all about comedy. I'm all down for it. Anyway, here it is, the last episode review for Stargirl for the season, for the year. It's been 13 weeks. What the fuck did the last 3 months go? I apologize for my language. I normally don't curse on this review series because it's not for the mature audiences. But how did we already end? How did 3 months pass already? It was August when this show came back, and I'm like, oh, August, still have the entire summer to go. Still have like a lot of other stuff to do in September, and October, and now first week of November, we're done with the journey. And then Supergirl so ends next week, which I'm like, okay, that doesn't really matter. But like, I'm gonna Stargirl. I do believe, if I have to say a little spoiler for next week's episode, which will be the season 2 review, as much as this season didn't reach the heights of season 1, I still found myself full of enjoyment throughout the entire 13 episode run again. This finale was basically like, this is everything you loved about season 1, just in like, this is like, because no offense, I said this before last season, that moving to the CW full-time was going to be tricky, because they said before, oh, don't worry about the quality, it's going to stay the same, nothing changes. Which, they were right to an extent, I think. I don't know, I think giving them the extended time of post-production definitely did help the season. If this was like a typical CW production schedule where it was certain episodes are like, you know, being filmed maybe weeks before it airs, I think this season would have been in trouble. But having the breadth of like, especially with this episode, I feel like if this was like, they shot this a month and a half before they wrapped, instead of the 6 or 7 months they already finished shooting the season, I would have been like, this would have been a very piss poor finale. I'll be honest with you. But thankfully it didn't. This episode definitely, while again, it does not reach the heights of the season 1 finale, because the first season was basically made to be more cinematic at scope. This was a more personal story, which means they were able to kind of take validity of like, oh, we don't have to do these big like moments like last season's underground battle, with the big satellite and everything, and you know, just all the amounts of green screen and CG in there. That felt like a movie. This definitely felt like a TV show finale, but in the which is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing per se. I just think like you set yourself up way too high with season 1, and then you go into this season, you really see that, sad to say, yes, the moves that CW did hurt the show a little bit, not too much. The story's still there, the heart's still there. It's just some of the presentation, mostly with the VFX work, and I'm actually, you know, understanding to why they were very limited to like what they were wanting to do this season, so that they can know how to use the budget reasonably. But enough about behind the scenes talk. Overall, I like this episode a lot. I think this was a very good finale. I especially like the moments at the end. I think the second half was like way better than the first half, which doesn't mean the first half was bad. It ran a little slow. The last half was like, here's your epic finale to this season, and then also here's all the big setup for season 3. Which was a little longer than expected. The overall Eclipse thing lasted in the first 40, and the all season 3 setup was in the last 20. And they definitely did a lot of stuff. They crammed a lot of stuff in that last 20 minutes to really like, because again, last season we only got the one small tease, well, the two small teases that Eclipso's the next villain, and also Sylvester's still alive. Those were the two big teases. This season was like, here's all these teases because this is your standard TV show. It's like, we're gonna like literally give you every single thread possible. You can speculate it for out until next summer. Which can't wait to do this all again next summer. But before we talk about that, let's go for the Butcher recap and talk about this finale episode to Stargirl. So we begin. Damn, with a night. Okay, so funny thing is that right now, currently in the state of New York and the tri-state area, it's election season. So I was literally a little bit scared because I thought they were going to preempt Stargirl yet again because of the election coverage. I was a little bit scared, but then thankfully they only lasted for like 3 minutes. Then the rest of the episode came on, which I'm like, okay, whew, that's good because I was about to say I was gonna have to kill y'all because if you're gonna delay the finale for at least another day, I was gonna have to kill you. But thankfully, no, they didn't. So I don't know what exactly happened in the first 2 minutes, but I remember Beth's parents are being held hostage by Eclipso at City Hall. So her and Dr. Midnight are trying to figure out how to break out of their spell, which is them experiencing like a horrible moment of like, what if Beth reacts superbly horrible to the news of the divorce, and so they're trapped there. And also, meanwhile, Jenny's having her dream about the impending battle that, Stargirl's going to turn evil, and then, they're going to lose. And Sydney's like, we got to stop them. They can't leave the house. They need to stay here. And, at least for one day while we figure this out. But they're like, sorry, they already left. So the team of Courtney, Yolanda, Cindy, and Pad, Sans Stripe again, head over to City Hall to go and figure out and, help the Dr. Midnighters. And they head in and Eclipse was in his kid form, playing with them. The girls tell Pat to go ahead and go find the others while they go take care of the clothes. Because again, Pat stupidly does not bring a single weapon. Like for example, I'm Batwoman right now. They gave Luke Fox the Batwing suit. I'm like, okay, just to have another asset on the field. I get that. We need a portable Iron Man version of Stripe. Nothing too flashy. You can use them at incrementals, but considering what happened to Pat later in this episode, I'm just like, he needs some sort of protection if he's going to go on the field. He really does. The man's getting old. I'm pretty sure he's in his 50s right now. So the three fight Child Eclipso, but obviously illusions, Astro, whatever his powers are named be. He's still super invincible, and again he splits up the core three. Yolanda's fighting a figment of the original Wildcat, Cindy with a figment of her younger self, and Courtney actually takes on Eclipso directly. Rick is trying to fix up the hourglass, but it's not really doing anything because this, again, I wonder Rick still had to break this very ancient item that, even though it does have some technological aspect that he has no background in, but he's struggling to fix this up. Mike and Jakeem are waiting for the mechanic to fix up the striped suit after the enormous wreckage the very short-lived new ISA performed on it, but it's almost completed. It's almost finished. So they're just holding back, waiting to join in, be the B team and join in at the last minute to help on the battle, but no progress yet on that front. What else do we have? I think we just stay in the final. I don't think we get any cutbacks away from anywhere else. Yeah, so Yolanda's finding the original, the OG Wildcat, well, sort of. And again, Eclipso using his powers of manipulation and, trying to get her to be angry and full of darkness. She's just taunting her with you're not cut out to be a Wildcat. You're not even that gutsy. If you think killing one guy is enough to make you weep and cry like a baby, then you're not meant to be a superhero. Cindy just trying to forget the past. I'm assuming. Courtney's doing the best she can against Eclipso, but Eclipso's just a little brat. He's that's all he's doing. Pat fights his evil self because, okay, honestly, it would have been better if Sylvester was the one as the figment, but I guess with the surprise later in the episode, I guess they were more no, let's not do that. Let's just do Pat versus old Pat. Well, not old man Pat, but more old Pat when he was in the striped shirt. So they fight. I don't remember how that fight concluded, to be honest with you. I know Striped C Pat kind of kicks out. I feel sorry for Pat. He just never can catch a break. Even when he's this higher authority figure, the old wise mentor, he still can't catch a break. I believe Beth manages to get away from the situation and does tell Courtney that the real Eclipso is right behind her, which is enough to actually for Courtney to get a real blast at him and causes the other figments to go away. And then everyone else regroups together. The OG Dr. Midnighter, Pat, everyone just shows up ready to attack Eclipso. And Eclipso's like, fuck y'all, I'm done with this shit. He just blasts everyone with a dark blast. Yolanda's the last one standing, but Yolanda easily gets her ass kicked again. Courtney and Cindy try to team up against him, and they do a couple of decent attacks, but it's not enough. He pushes them off the building as the portals to the Shadowlands continue to expand back at the garage. It's become apparent, like, yeah, Stripes is not getting fixed in time. The Hourglass is not getting fixed in time. There's no way they're going to show up. Rick decides enough's enough. He heads off without the Hourglass to go help the others. Once become apparent that Stripes not getting fixed, and this was on purpose because Pat did not want Mike at the final battle this season. So they're feeling a little bit bummed that they are actually getting sidelined this season. But nope, Thunderbolt shows up with a bunch of Chinese food, which I actually just had on Saturday. So that was Poigon for me. So they decided to cheat the system and use Thunderbolt to wish up a brand new engine for Stripes so they can get in on the action. I want to say, Courtney and Cindy are below ground. They're just struggling to get back up. Eclipso's amazed at the progress that the portals are doing, and everything's going according to plan. And Mike shows up out of nowhere with the striped outfit. I'm like, finally, 13 freaking episodes since we last saw Stripe, and we finally see him in his all glory. He's actually doing some really actually impressive damage. Like, okay, this is the reason why you couldn't put Stripe earlier in the season, because he would have easily done some sort of damage to Eclipso. And then Jakeem shows up to try and get the Thunderbolt in, but of course, Eclipso, being this all-powerful being, grabs the Thunderbolt itself, throws it at Stripe, once again rendering it unusable. Damn, Stripe was not kind. No one was kind to Stripes at all this season. So back on the ground, Eclipso's ready to go, continue fighting. Or he's about to wreck Jakeem because he's the one who sent the Thunderbolt at him. But Rick shows up, and Rick's in the costume, but not with the Hourglass. And even Eclipso knows, like, what are you gonna do? You don't have super strength. And Rick's like, yeah, I do, an unlimited one. And I'm just thinking to myself, what is he talking about? And I remember Grundy. I forgot. So Grundy comes in. Honestly, again, does some really considerable damage to him. But however, Eclipso, deja vu here, being a powerful being, actually kills Grundy, which I'm like, so your two biggest OP CG characters this entire shell, one gets defeated by a Thunderbolt and the other one gets killed. Great CW, great. You really know how to do that. You really know how to save your budget. Rick gets mad, but of course Eclipso takes him down with one punch. Man. Sorry, that was a corny ass joke. I apologize. So, Eclipso heads out back to the main battlefield. Pat's trying to get Mike out of the wreckage, but Eclipso grabs him before he can do anything and, lures him to the street for Courtney to see. Basically frightening her, like, yeah, see, look at all of what I did just by myself. Look what all I did to you in the past week or so. This was all me. What are you gonna say to me now? Like, I'm literally about to break your freaking stepdad's arm off. Like, what do you gotta say? And Courtney says, I hate you. And I'm like, damn, that's some third grade, back talk right there. That really is. So Eclipso's like, that's all I wanted to hear. He comes up close to Courtney and says, like, this entire plan was to get you to have some darkness in your heart, to put a little bit of blackness in the light, or the dark in the black and the white. I forgot. My analogies are all out of the place. So with that being said, Eclipso now has enough to work with, so he goes and he transmits himself into Courtney, turning into kind of like, I'm gonna call him Dark Stargirl. I'm gonna say that, be some corny ass, like, generic, naming villains here. So Courtney has the power, Courtney has the Eclipso inside her now, so now Eclipso commands the light and the darkness. So now this will make conquering the Earth and the Shadowlands basically more easier for her, or for him. Damn, I never thought I would be in this situation, but whatever. So everyone's just confused. Yolanda shows back in, and Cindy catches her up on what's going on, and Cindy's plan is like, yeah, we got to kill Courtney right now. That's the only way we can take on Eclipso again. But Cindy's like, too many characters, and again, I'll make a joke of this scene later. Yolanda's like, nope, we're not killing anyone. That's not part of the plan. We're gonna keep going. So we're just gonna have to separate the staff from Courtney and then go from there. So they both tag team Courtney, but again, well, Dark Stargirl, but again, having the power of both the staff and Eclipso, it's not enough. They easily get their ass whooped again by her. And it's like, this was all part of the plan, because like there's only one person who's worthy of the staff, and I'm just thinking, why'd you say that line like that? And then like, oh my freaking god, I forgot about you, Sylvester Pemberley. I don't think we've seen him since episode 2. I'm like, you went 11 episodes without using Joe McHale. I want to say like you just basically flew Joe McHale out for like a week and just like, oh, we're shooting scenes for all this, because like, him coming back and forth like through Atlanta and all this stuff, like I can't even imagine him doing that. So yes, finally, after all this season of teasing, Sylvester's finally in Blue Valley. Everyone just watches in amaze, because like again, the original Starman is here. The I forgot, the Dr. Miners do get to get Beth's parents out of, you know, their illusion, and this is when Beth reveals to them, yeah, I'm a superhero now, you know, YOLO. So everyone goes inside, and even Courtney's mom, who else shows up? Someone else shows up, and yeah, everyone just watching Starman just like being a badass, and he's like, he doesn't kick ass, but he just like grabs that staff, and he's like, yeah, nah, it's not just one. So they start floating in the air for control over the staff, and Sylvester, still knowing a little to nothing about Courtney, just knows that, look, if you're worthy to hold the staff, then you do represent one of the true beings of light in the world. So if anyone can stop Eclipso, it's you. And Eclipso's starting to lose his control. And Courtney goes through like a very, I want to say a montage, or just like a vision of just like all the good moments she's had in the last 2 seasons, with with her friends, with her family, with every victory she's had. And it's enough to remove Eclipso and like really weaken him to the certain points. Like he gets out of the body. And then all of a sudden you see darts and a ball thrown at him. It's like, what? Where are these things got me running? Yeah, it's Sportmaster and Tigress, and also their daughter show up, and like, why did you call them? Why, Cindy? They have new. What are you gonna do with a dart and a ball? What are you gonna do? Nothing. So it's like, okay, I'll give it that. Like having that amazing shot with like, here's everyone's here. You know, all the old JSA, the new JSA, the family. And it's like, okay, Barbara being in that scene was like, it's sort of like a storefront. And also, I forgot to mention the Shade's back too. Like he never died. Like he just faked his death in the theater. Like for the odds, like, I'm just like, okay, yeah, okay. I was not surprised. I was like, this 100-year-old being killed because he just lost his powers after trying to get Courtney out of the Shadowlands. I call blasphemy there. So Shade, yeah, said like Eclipso's weak now. Like, you know, everyone who has like the light in them, kill him, destroy him. So Jenny, Courtney, even the Thunderbolt like zap their full powers in like my closest analogy to that scene is Iron Man, Thor, and Vision taking down Ultron, but this time Eclipso is toast, literally toast. So they save the day, the world's won, and you know, I'll give it credit. Like the switchback of like, we don't have this amazing like big backdrop for the battle, having all these characters here in one scene, breaking all the COVID regulations, and the god amount of tests they have to do before they shot the scene. Yeah, this was worth it. This was worth it. But technically, Eclipso's not dead. He's just a piece of toast. So what do you do with this piece of toast? Hope to God in like 30 years when they eventually do a new Stargirl show and they decide to remember this moment, like, let's hope to God they don't make a joke out of it. Yeah, so we cut to the next day. The current new JSA, you know, the original 4 now, and now Jenny are just reflecting after their battle. They just had to double confirm with Yolanda, like, you are back this time, like, you're back. And Yolanda said, yeah, I'm back. But their short-term reunion is not saved for long, since everyone's going to do their own thing now. Which I'm like, do not Riverdale this. Do not split up these characters for no godforsaken reason, just to do 5 separate storylines. Please don't. So Rick has to go bury Solomon. Jenny's going to move on to her next location. Beth is going to go and, just talking with Dr. Midnighter, has some family stuff to deal with. And Courtney still has to deal with the Starman thing. Like, his return, what does this mean? Like, what does this mean for Stargirl? What does this mean for the JSA? Because also you have Dr. Midnighter back. Like, what's the plan here? Are they going to reform a new old JSA now that, like, 2 core members are back? It seems like there is a third out there. I don't remember. Season 1 was so long ago. I should rewatch it someday. Where do we go? Where do we go? Where do we go? I want to say, where do we go? Oh yeah, so immediately to the basement. So Courtney talks to Pat about just what does Starman's return mean? Cause like you saw him die, and also in every TV show logic, if you see the body of the dead person, that means they're dead. They are not coming back. We remember you, Glenn. So there's still and obviously this is the DC universe, so resurrection's a thing. Mirages are a thing. They're gonna explain this, and even Sylvester said I will explain this later, which is code for I will explain this next season, at a random episode. To give more emotional, and also probably tie into whatever next season's big bad is going to be. And Courtney's obviously wondering, does his return mean that he's going to be Starman again? Is he going to take the staff back? And Pat's just whoa. We don't have time to start anything new, okay? Let's just wrap up all the old stuff. Let's not start any new questions. I'm just bro, your last 20 minutes of your episode is basically what's going to happen next. But then Sylvester shows up and just said, yeah, I have no purpose to take back the staff. It's yours now. But what I can do is I can teach you some things about how to use the staff, which is going to be interesting. And of course, we're starting to see a little bit of tension between Sylvester's teaching style and Pat's. Because, Courtney, the only agreement, for Pat to sign up on Courtney doing this sort of extra superhero training is that she has to finish summer school. And Sylvester's school? Pfft, you're a superhero. You don't need school. Which I'm okay, now you're really setting up an interesting dynamic here. Because remember, back in the day, Pat just did whatever the hell Sylvester told him to do. But this go around, Pat's had some experience. He's Courtney's stepdad, so he has more authority. And also, he's been in charge of these kids for a while. Sylvester coming in is going to create some rift there between them. So I'm actually very curious to see how that's going to go. We go all over setting up stuff for next season. I want to say what next happened was Bev heads back upstairs. Dr. Midnighter, the original ones, is going to go back to searching for his wife since, he's alive again. So it makes no sense for him to stay in Blue Valley. He has to go find his wife and, let her know, I'm alive. I'm not dead. But I was going to say, another comparison is, I was watching Operation Overdrive back in 07, and the Silver Range, the Mercury Ranger, technically, that's his destination, says, okay, I'm gonna go find my fiance. It could take years, it could take many seasons for me to do this. And nope, we found her. It's already done. And Beth does the same thing, I found her, she's in Milwaukee. Or no, she's in Indiana. Which I'm really? That was quick. You saved me all this money and time for no reason. But Beth does give him another important piece of news, that you have a son. You have a 10-year-old boy. She was pregnant before you left. Which I'm thinking to myself, yeah, that makes sense. That lines up. So he's a dad again. And of course, Beth knows being a parent is a bit of a bigger responsibility nowadays than being a superhero. So what does that mean if the world needs a Dr. Midnighter again? And of course, we know this is the official passing of the torch that, yeah, you're Dr. Midnighter. You're Dr. Midnight. That's you now. Beth also goes back home to check in on her parents, drop off the case, preparing for her official new life as a superhero. And her parents are just very overeager about this whole thing. They said screw the divorce, we're parents of a superhero. Which I'm okay, technically I know Beth did a lot in the last battle. She doesn't have any physical power, but I'm we won't make that case, we won't make that argument here. But they're just too overeager, and they start thinking oh, let's rebrand the costume, let's change the material, let's nanotech. I'm oh my god, no. If a CW show can afford nanotech, no. And Supergirl and Flash, they're exceptions. But regardless of the case, might be for that. So Beth's about to start her new life of being, shepherded by her superhero-like parents. Rick's burying Solomon in the woods. The Shades show up for some reason to him, and no, Shade's gonna stick around. He's gonna be in Blue Valley for a bit, which I'm great. Everyone's gonna. Oh, great! That's gonna be fun. I mean, we're gonna have a recurring rogue. Okay, that doesn't make sense. What? Okay, well, he's just I'm just interested in your kids' life. You younglings are so interesting. I'm thank God this isn't a teen drama show, or else the Shade has very low standards. But he does tell Rick that, in the right time and place, you could bring Grundy back. Which I'm oh yeah, I forgot. There is Grundy can technically never die, and also he has his trademark hole in his chest. So. Because I played Arkham City. I know my comics. I know my DC material. I'm not as big as a fan as George, but I'm there. Yolanda is heading out of a Sunday session or a Sun. I forgot what the terminology was for out of a mass. Cindy's still there, and Courtney and Yolanda's like, "You're still here? I thought you were gonna leave." And Cindy's like, "Nah, I like Blue Valley. I'm gonna stay here." I'm like, "Oh my god, is everyone gonna stay in Blue Valley?" I'm like, "Come on." But Cindy has a change of heart. She doesn't want to start the new ISA. She wants to join the new JSA. And I'm just thinking to myself, oh god, what is this show setting up? What is it setting up? I can't. And her reasoning is that if you, Stargirl's right-hand woman, agrees to this, I have a better chance of joining because she needs a new place. Because she has a point. She doesn't have a family. Half of her new ISA is dead. And yeah, she doesn't really hold the candle now that they have Jenny. Now they have the original Starman back, having a working robot. She has really no chance. So she might as well join up with them. And Yolanda's left speechless. Because again, they have this rift between them, this issue between them from the past. Will that affect their judgment? We don't know. We'll see. Mike has revealed that he's gotten permission from his dad to use Stripe part-time, with supervision. So technically, Pat, in a sense, has passed on the Stripe role to Mike. But it's only in conditional, and now that they have the Thunderbolt, which is now for a young comer, Mike wants to form his own team, a young Justice Society. Which I swear to God, they used the Young Justice. I swear to God, I'll never forget the show. I will never. Did I forget anything else? Before we get to the big final moment, I think that's it. I think everyone's bases has been covered. I want to say. No, not yet. This is what I remember. So, Icicle Jr. finally finishes his mural of his dad, which I'm like, oh, sweet. That's still sweet of him to do. And his grandparents show up, congratulating him, good job, kid. Now that you finished this mural, convening in time for the season finale, we could tell you now your bigger purpose in life. And they showcase their ice powers briefly with their eyes turning silver, and I'm just like, I'm going to be completely honest with you, and here's the last reference I'll make to another superhero property. Spider-Man 2's ending, when Harry gets the realization his dad was Green Goblin, and he realizes that he has a whole big, next step ahead of him. This was Icicle Jr.'s moment that, what is he going to do? Is he going to be his dad? Is he going to be something else? We don't know. Because that was the tease they left over at their... I think, yeah, that's it. So the last scene is, it's Courtney's last day of summer school. They're all having breakfast. Sylvester's finishing up his new basement arrangement, since that's how it is now. He's also staying in Blue Valley for the foreseeable future, like everyone else. And Barbara drops the news. They're like, yeah, we got some new neighbors. Someone bought the house next door. I'm like, oh, cool. Maybe that's going to be a future DC Comics family we don't know about, trying to bring in a new wave of audience members for the show. That would be cool. It'd be fun. And then someone knocks on the door, and I'm just thinking to myself, oh, we're already getting tease about that. Pat opens the door. Sam, even with his broken arm, his family's like, can you open the door? Come on. So he opens the door, and it's the I forgot the name of the family, but it's that family. They move. They're moving into the house, which is I'm taking off my mask because I'm just like, this show's gonna kill me next season, because literally you just have. I want to scream, but I can't. But I'm just saying, why do you put this many characters? Because now I have to remember all their names. I don't even remember half these people's names. This family, I don't even know their names. Now you want me to remember them for a whole season? Even Pat's face is perfectly describing my move. Yeah, and Courtney even has her own Spider-Man moments. He's like, what the fuck? And yeah, and they reveal the next season's subtitle will be Stargirl, Frenemies. But that's next season, because summer school has come to an end. It's time to deal with the Frenemies. Which I'm just like, yeah, this is why I said next season's gonna be full of fun and comedy. I have no idea what the threat is next season. I'm just thinking to myself, if this turns into a superhero comedy show, I'm like, fuck it, let's do it. I'm all game for it. But that was it for this episode of Stargirl, and this is it for the season 2 story for Stargirl, ending the summer school graphic novel or arc. I don't know what you want to call it. I really don't know. So yeah, despite me you thinking I didn't like this episode, I'm amazed at what they're gonna do, because they have just jam-packed so much for next season, so much that it's not even funny. Makes me tired, makes me want to lose my sanity, but that's next season Joe's problem. That's 2022 Joe's problem. 2021 Joe, he's done. He's cruising. He's done right now. But we're just reviewing the Eclipse side of things. I think it was still a pretty good way to end it off, you know. Just having the moment of unity, like just, you know, he tried to divide them all, but they just came back stronger than ever. I love that message. Seeing Sylvester actually be involved, because my original plot was that we were just going to end season 2 with, you know, this scene where, like, it would have been Sylvester at the front door. Like, I would have made the joke, like, it took him an entire season just to drive up a state. That would have been my joke, but no. Thankfully, they got him involved, and, you know, they're really sending a lot of stuff up with him. Eclipso, at the end of the day, I thought it was an okay villain. I think last season's villains did a much better job, because Eclipso was your generic, like, you know, I am darkness. I feed on darkness, you know, that villain. Because I had hope for him in the 6th episode. I had hope, but then the second half of the season didn't really play with him that much. The kid aspect was interesting. I know it was like a cost-saving measure. Also just meant to be a creepy way of intimidating people. I get that, but overall, Kosa was a fine villain. Not the best, but he was okay at the end of the run. Love that everyone so far in the story has had a moment to shine in this episode. I love that at all, and yeah. Despite it not reaching the heights of season 1's finale, I still very much enjoyed season 2 finale, and I can't wait to see what the heck kind of bonkers thing they're going to do in season 3 to really wrap my brain up a little bit. So for me, I'm going to give this episode 1 3/4 thumbs up. Like, it was still great. I still enjoyed it, but it wasn't like amazing. It wasn't perfect. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think of this season's finale of Stargirl. Let me know down below. And I believe that's going to do it for me today, everyone, because also this was our final episode review for our DC Stargirl Season 2 coverage. But our journey is not quite over yet. Remember, next week is our Season 2 review, non-spoilers, so check that out for all the people who have yet to watch Stargirl Season 2, which most likely is now streaming free, all on the CW app and the CW.com, and they will be available on HBO Max at some point in the foreseeable future. Then we'll be doing a Season 3 predictions video, and oh boy, I have a lot to say about that. After this finale, my brain is popping. I might record that early just to, like, get the head space on there, probably. We'll see what happens. Yeah. So, we're not done yet, but for now, this is the final piece of new content we're going to be talking about for a while. So, still bittersweet, but can't wait for the next run. But I still enjoyed this run. Well, also, what's in the tube? But what else we're doing? We're doing Walker Season 2 episode reviews each and every Friday mornings after brand episode on Thursday nights on the CW or free the next day on the CW app. We're also doing Doom Patrol Season 3 episode reviews each and every Saturday mornings after brand episode on Thursdays on HBO Max. We're also doing the Season 3 through Season 3 episode reviews each and every Sunday mornings after brand episode on Friday nights on the CW or free the next day on the CW app. And we're also doing the Rookie Season 4 episode reviews each and every Monday mornings after brand episode on the on Sunday nights on ABC or scratch that part, on Hulu the next day. I believe next week we are releasing our Titan Season 3 review. Ironically, it was supposed to come out last week, but I made a mistake in the schedule and I forgot. Whoops. So it'll be on next week, so stay tuned for that. We also produced the 269th episode, What's in the Tube, an After Dark special about chemistry. So you can go check that out as well. But if you don't care about Stargirl, again, you're in luck. We still have 2 more weeks. Season 2 review next week, and then Season 3 predictions the week after that. So more fun stuff abound. But again, if you're unaware, this has been What's in the Tube from Action X. Please subscribe to us on youtube.com/ActionXvideos. Ring that bell for notification when our next Stargirl review is live, which is normally each and every Wednesday mornings. Please also like, favorite, share this review if you want to, but it helps us gets us out there to other members of the Stargirls out there who have yet to discover us. Helps us beat up the YouTube algorithm that hates me ever so much in life, and as well as sharing us for free here on the interwebs. And also, please follow us on social media to stay up to date with any sort of updates for the channel. But until then, Star Girls, if you're joining me in the next 2 weeks, I'll see you then. But if this was the end of your road, you won't be seeing us for the next 2 weeks or until next year when we come back for season 3, where we get to do this all over again for 13 weeks. Like I said in the end of season 1, I wish you well. Thank you so much for your support in the last 13 weeks. It's been a lot. I've been enjoying doing these reviews. Can't wait to do it all over again. But again, hope you're doing well. I'll see you guys in season 3 next year because we will be back. But again, for everyone, stay safe out there, be good to each other, and as always, peace out.